Welcome to Charting the Course. I am your host, Tumika Patrice Cain, and today I want to talk to you about the importance and the power of having an effective why. Now that sounds funny, like what is an effective why? And by that, a why is your motivation. It is that thing inside you that drives you to make a change or keep going or whatever. And so it's important to have a why so that when things are not going quite the way you want them to, or they are taking longer to manifest than you hope that they would, basically, it's a motivating factor. And so, how do you come up with your why? Well, we know that abundant living is authentic living, and authentic living is honest living. And so, we start off by asking ourselves the hard questions, or maybe they're the easy questions. What is it that drives me? What is it that makes me happy? What is it that I would want to do if there was something I could spend my time doing where money was no object? What would that thing be? And so there are many times that we are doing things and there's a price attached to it. We are working for a paycheck because we have a mortgage to pay, car note, car insurance, children to take care of, households to run, whatever, right? Futures to plan for. And so we do what we have to do. And sometimes we are not necessarily doing what we want to do and are not tapping into that intrinsic desire to that thing that propels you forward. It's funny, I love children and I like working with kids a whole lot. And even from the time they are very young, you can see their natural propensities, what they're interested in, where their gifts and skills lie. And oftentimes to the parents or the adults who are dealing with them, it just seems like they're just getting into mischief. But the child who is taking apart his toys that you just bought for Christmas, could potentially be the future engineer or mechanic or something like that. Someone who is good at working with his hands, future, builders, things like that. And so all of those kinds of things serve a purpose. So I bring that up because we are all born with gifts. Yeah, some person, may have one gift. Other people have multiple gifts. And sometimes we are blessed and fortunate enough to be in families who encourage us to make those, to work with those gifts and to cultivate those gifts. And other times, the gifts are kind of seen as something not important. Yeah, okay, that's great. That can be your hobby, but don't put too much time into that. And so we spend a lot of time just doing what we have to do, what we've been told to do, what society has dictated is important, that we should try to focus on. And as we go about the journey, that little, still, small voice inside of us, that voice of truth, that authentic voice, gets dimmer and dimmer, even to the point sometimes where we can no longer hear it. And so all of this takes us back to why it's important to have a why. But before you can find your why, you need to figure out where you are and what it is that you want. And I met a young lady recently, just a remarkable young lady, just very sweet. And, life took a very difficult turn, and I met her as she was starting nursing school. And from the time she was a small child, she knew she wanted to be a nurse, but everything in life, just kind of came up and her path ended up somewhere else. And so when things bottomed out in her life, she took that as an opportunity to search within, to go within and figure out what it was that she really wanted to do, what would make her happy. And so I was so happy to have this conversation with her and so happy to share in the joy that she was feeling in starting nursing school because this was a dream come true for her. And she was at the beginning of her journey, but she started it. She was willing to ask herself the question. She was willing to search within. She was willing to make a change. And so, there are many reasons that she has for wanting to, to be a nurse. But there are days when you're on the journey, even when it's something that you love to do or something that you long to do, not every day will be an easy day. And so a why am I doing this? What is it that I want to accomplish in this? That why is the thing that keeps you going and keeps you motivated when stuff is not going quite the way you want it to. So I'm encouraging you to tap into your voice of truth. If a situation that you are in doesn't feel right, you don't like who you are becoming in the midst of it, it's an energy drain, you're spending more time having to build yourself back up after the experience, those are all signs and indicators that you're not quite where you need to be. And so life is short. You kind of blink your eye and years have passed and it doesn't even seem like it. And so we don't have any time to waste. And when I think about life and this journey and the whole thing, I know that one of the goals is to get to the end of life and not have a whole lot of regrets. Well, how we do that is being honest with ourselves about who we are, where we are, what we want, and then being willing to take the steps that are necessary in order to manifest those things. Sometimes it's going to require that you have to go back to school. Sometimes it's going to have to require that you relocate. But if those are the things that drive you, if that's something that when you think about your life and you take a step back and you say, this is the thing that I would want to do, even if no one were paying me, then that's something that's significant and worth the effort that you have to put in, even if it inconveniences you a little bit or for a time. And because change doesn't just happen. Change doesn't happen unless something changes. And I know that seems so simplistic, but inside we know it. But then when it comes time to actually act it out, we're not always on the same page with what we know on the inside to be true. So I'm going to say it again. Change doesn't happen unless something changes. And so whatever it is in your life that's not going quite the way you need it to, is it worth it enough to you to make the change that needs to be changed? So, I know I've been talking a lot about like career changes and things like that, but, it's not just that. It can apply to relationships, even relationships with, with friends and with family and things like that. Even if how you communicate is not effective, well, isn't it important to you to be effective in what you're doing so that you're not wasting time? So, sometimes we have to just we have to be honest about where we are, and we have to be honest about who we are, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is to take an introspective look at self and say, okay, you know what, this is me, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, all of it, and realize where it is that we need to change. And so, if everyone around you is saying the same thing, the problem is not everyone around you. Give that just a moment of thought. I'm going to say it again. If everyone around you is saying the same thing, the problem isn't everyone around you. So, sometimes we have to adjust some stuff. Maybe your tone is a little too harsh when you talk to people, and you might not even be aware of it. But if it's coming to your attention, and especially if it's coming to your attention by more than one person, isn't it at least worth a moment to stop and just say, okay, well, let me see how I'm doing. Let me really kind of assess and see where I am and what I'm doing and how am I talking to people, because there could very well be truth in the things that they're saying. And you don't want to lose the message that you're trying to get across by speaking in a way that people can't receive. That's counterproductive. And I don't know about you, but I don't like wasting time, right? I'd rather get it right the first time. and then be able to move on to the next thing. So whatever it is. And so it could be relationships, it could be just whatever. If you feel like you don't know enough about money, there's some goals that you have, but financially you're in the same place that you've been for the last 10 years, and you want to do something about it. Well, that's not going to just happen. Maybe you need to read some books. Maybe you need to, follow some blogs, some personal finance blogs. Perhaps you need to take a course, watch some YouTube videos, whatever, right? Something to put you in a direction that's going to lead you towards ultimately accomplishing your goal. And the goal might be to save some money. The goal might be to invest. The goal might be to become a millionaire. But those things don't just happen without some sort of change and plan and progress taking place along the way. So, that would be your why. Why am I doing this? What is it that you want to accomplish when you've gotten out of debt? What is it that you want to accomplish by having money in the bank? Are you tired of having to borrow money from someone? When the car breaks down, or a repair needs to be done on the house, or the child needs a pair of shoes, and they had a growth spurt and you weren't ready for that just then. What is your why? And so, okay, so maybe the why is I want to have this money in the bank, so that I can feel a sense of freedom, a sense of I can breathe a little bit. I don't have to be so stressed out, trying to make ends meet. Maybe the why is, if you are talking about losing weight, maybe the why is I want the pain in my joints to go away. I want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs and not be huffing and puffing. I want to be able to put on a bikini and go on the beach, whatever. But that would be part of your why, right? Now let's talk about relationships. Maybe you're tired of attracting people who cheat on you all the time, or who are verbally abusive to you, or who lie to you or lie on you, whatever your thing is, right? And so, okay, in a sense like that, you'd have to step back and ask yourself, well, why do I keep attracting people who have these traits? Because relationships are just a mirror of everything that's going on inside of us. So what's going on in me, this is the caliber of person that I'm attracting. Are you a person who dishes out that sort of thing? Are you messy? Are you constantly, lying on folks and cheating on people, and then you're just attracting some of what you put out? Or, are you a person who just feel like this is all you deserve? Whatever is going on inside, it deserves a moment of reflection, a moment of contemplation, to be able to say, okay, all right, this is where I'm at, and I don't want to be here any longer, because life is short, and I want to be able to maximize my time here. I want to be happy in this place here. I want to live an abundant life. That was a gift that was given to me upon birth. I want to be able to exercise that gift and flow in that gift and live in that space. So find your why. What is it that you want? You want to relocate? Well, what are you hoping to find when you get to a place of relocation? Do you just need to get away from your family? Do you feel like, the family just sucks the life out of me? They're always pulling on me. I just need a chance to step away and to breathe. Is that your why? So whatever your thing is, why do you want to go back to school? Why do you want to get that advanced degree? Is there something in particular that you want to do with it? Okay, so you're working on your master's degree now. That's fantastic. Beautiful. What do you want to do with it? Did you want to start a company? Did you need it in order to teach? Do you need it so that you can be a consultant, for other organizations, so that you have the credibility that people will hire you to do something else? What is your why? Why do you want this? Why are you willing to put forth the effort to get this? And so focus on that. And, I'm always encouraging you to write things down, write your goal down, and even write your why down. Why do I want this? Why do I want this change? Why do I want another child? What is it that I feel like I will accomplish in my life by having another child? Are you lonely? Do you feel like a baby or adding another child to your life would fix the issues in your marriage? We have to be honest about things, right? Because now, with that, we know that A child just brings another element to that relationship, but it's not going to fix anything that's broken. The two people who are involved have to fix what's broken, and adding another child is not going to fix that. But is that your why? Do you just, have you just always wanted to be a parent, and that you just have a desire to just want to love someone, or are you just looking to be loved? Oh, people have come and people have gone and they have left me, and I just want to be loved unconditionally. Well, yeah, a child will love you unconditionally, but it comes with a whole lot of work. So, and I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm just trying to encourage you to be honest about where you are, what you want, and why you want it, so that you don't want to be wasting time. I've already said that I'm a big time person, and I don't feel like I have any time to waste. I'm not, like anal about it. I just want to maximize it. I want to spend my time that I have doing the things that I want to do. You know why it's so important to me? Here we go with those whys, right? Because I spent a whole lot of years doing what I had to do, following the obligations, fulfilling other people's goals and dreams and desires for me. And I was miserable, absolutely miserable. And I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with a client. And we were not especially close. We got along fine, but she wasn't someone that I would just, sit there and just pour my heart out to, but we had a conversation that was very instrumental in helping me to change some things in my life, and it was what I call one of those divine appointments, a God connect, whatever. And she asked me some very pointed questions about some things that she knew that was going on in my life. And I'm an honest person. I'm not a person who just shares all my business. That's just not who I am, but in this case, I really felt like I needed to just be transparent and honest with her about all of it. So she asked me questions. I answered the hard questions that she was asking me. What choices had I made that brought, pleasure to my life, that increased the quality of my life? And what choices did I make that really kind of tore my life apart, or that did not add to the quality of my life? And in that moment, I could just, I had to stop and just search a little bit and see things differently. And so, the long and short of that for her was, and this is the woman who had lived through all kinds of stuff. She was not some little princess. She had lived through things, and so, she looks at me, dead in the eye, and she just tells me, make your dreams come true. And I had to really kind of step back. I had been so far removed from what meant something to me that I couldn't even. I didn't even know what my dreams were. I had to fast and pray for days to be able to figure out where I was, so that I would know where I needed to go from there. And I made a list of some things that really meant something to me and things I wanted to accomplish in my life before I left this earth. And I'm not totally through with the list, but I do keep that list in my mind as I'm making decisions for my life. I've spent lots of time doing what I had to do. I have spent, time pouring into people, out of obligation, not necessarily because I wanted to. I have been empty. I have been lonely. I have been, you fill in the blank. And I just wanted to spend the rest of my life, however much time it was that I was allowed to have here on this earth, I wanted to spend the rest of it living life authentically, living life on purpose, and living a life that made me happy, and that when I looked in the mirror each day, I could be pleased and proud of the decisions that I was making. And so, those are the things that kind of started me on my journey of finding my what and finding my why. And each day I try to just keep plugging along. Some days are better than others. Some days I totally just blow it and get all sucked up into old stuff again, and I can feel it. It weighs on me. I feel heavy when I do that too. And I have to remind myself that I matter, and that the things that matter to me matter, and that I have to make myself a priority, and that I can no longer sacrifice myself for other people who are doing what they want to do with their lives. They're living their lives and then wanting to live my life for me too. Doesn't work like that. We've all just been given one life, and it's the gift of life. So what am I going to do with this gift of life that God has given me. I wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, you've been given the gift one more day. What are you going to do with it? And so I ask you, what are you going to do with this gift that you've been given? Because you're watching this video, and so I know that you are alive and experiencing that gift once again. So, but just take some time and process through that, and see where you are and see where you want to be, and find the reasons that you are willing to do what it takes to go where it is that you want to go, and then just make it happen. Because ultimately you are worth it, and you have been given this gift of life, and what you want does matter to God, and how you feel does matter to God. And you were not just, no matter what life has shown you before, no matter what curveball life has thrown your way, or what lemons life has thrown at you, you do matter. You are a person of significance and important, and your presence on the planet is you're here for a reason. There are people who need what it is that you have. And as you continue to empower yourself, even when you don't know people are watching you, you are empowering other people to go ahead and to do the same. And so, but know that your happiness is important to God. And so it's important for you to make it a priority for you. As you begin to put things in place and make your priorities known, and start charting this course, okay, and putting one foot in front of the other, and making one decision after another to do what it is that needs to be done, you will find that the universe will support your decision to support yourself. It's really a beautiful thing. And all of a sudden, things will start coming out of the woodworks. And it's like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? But everything you need is already on your life's path, just waiting on you to get there. Everything you need is already on your life's path, your destiny's path, waiting on you to get there. So as you continue to keep putting one foot in front of the other, the things that you need, the things that you desire, the things that you want will continue to manifest, but you have to do your part. And so, I'm not saying, now you don't have to strive. Sometimes we get all, anxious and just this, just got to get there. We don't have to do that. You have to work, but you don't have to strive. There is a difference. And there shouldn't be any stress or anxiety behind what you're doing. You should be able to just put one foot in front of the other and just keep plugging along and doing what you have to do. And as you do that, the universe will come in behind you and support you and undergird you and lift you up and help you get where it is that you're trying to go. And so know that you are not in this journey alone. You are not on this journey alone, and that everything you need has already been provided for. So go ahead and take a moment, and really and when I say take a moment, I mean take a quiet moment, just find that quiet place. If you have to go for a walk, if you have to take a bath, and then, a steaming bath after everybody's gone to sleep, whatever it is that you have to do so that you can have that moment for yourself, you go ahead and do that, and find that place, and then jot those things down, and then begin to search deep within so that you can know why it is that why you are motivated to do what it is that you're doing, or motivated to do what it is that's upcoming for you. And know that you can do it. And that in and of itself is highly significant. Just knowing that you can do it, knowing that there's a place for you, knowing that there's a place for your gifts and the things that you want to do and the stuff that drives you, and knowing that there is support and help for you to get there. That should be a huge source of encouragement and empowerment for you to go and be your best self and to live your best life. So I am going to sign off for now, but I hope that today has been an amazing day for you, and that you've had moments where you can just contemplate, and to just be reflective and to just be thankful. Always be thankful. There's such power in gratitude, and I'll do a video on that on a different day. But just know that you are blessed, and that you are loved, and that you are wanted, and that you are supported. No matter how things look, and no matter how you feel, just know that you are. and that you can do it and that you can make it. This is Tumika Patrice Cain signing off, changing lives one word at a time. Enjoy the rest of your day.